Hey folks, ET here, and I'm coming at you with the end of the week wrap up. Just to see what's going on, we'll check SPY and QQQ, look at the data that's coming through from these two, and then we'll wrap it up for the week. And then Sunday I'll do 3 random tickers that don't involve the indices. So let's go ahead and deep dive into it. Once again, we do not watch this. Okay, it was bullish for a portion of the day, obviously, but that can be hit or miss. So we just do not pay attention to that. There is some decent OI out here, obviously. So some folks there at 420, that's pretty amazing. Some at 428 going further out, which we tapped today. So that's pretty interesting to see. All right, getting into our back test. Our dealer Greeks have shrunk down a little bit here, and so going into our back test, it does say that we short over, but we've been kind of having a big run, and I really do want to wait for these larger bars that tap up around this line right here. If you draw a line with your eyes, those larger ones seem to be our pullbacks, and we saw a little bit of one with this bigger one, but these smaller ones seem to need some more build-up time in my brain, even though some were some decent pullbacks on smaller ones. All right, let's go into our price distributions going in through the, so for Monday, we're looking pretty choppy, right? Kind of a round trippy day, maybe fade the first move. Tuesday, we're looking a little bit kind of choppy as well. Not a lot of indecision. Getting into Wednesday, we get slightly more bullish, but there's still some pretty decent sized tails there. Okay, oops, skipped a day. Thursday, we're looking at another day where there's just some interesting data. It looks more bullish, bigger bar there, bigger bar there, bigger bar there, but these aren't too small either. Then going into Friday, it looks slightly more bearish than the other days. Just take a look at maybe 10 days out, see what we get, and 10 days out, it's quite a bit more bearish. So we'll see how that goes. Going into our week ahead, looking at 6.5 through 6.8, these are positions that would be considered bearish if the dealer OI is bullish. So maybe we see a little bit of a downtrend day or a little bit of controlled selling during these days if this lines out the way it should. Remember, it changes, so you have to check it every day. And then going into Friday on 6.9, it looks a little bit more bullish, pointing in that direction. So let's go ahead and pull up our DTE or our expiry filter for the 9th. I got my dates right today, so we don't have to watch me try to smooth brain what day it is. And here's some interesting looks. Our biggest pull right now for next week is 425. There is another pretty sizable bar at 429, which we got close to today, right? And then there's a little bit of 433 here. Which would be a repel if price gets there. Obviously, if price gets above it, it could repel upwards, and this data does change, so we'll want to take a look at it. And then, of course, down at 420 is our biggest positive bar, which could be repel. There are some supports going on the way down. I wouldn't consider them supports. I know they repel, but if they could bounce here if price repels. If they get underneath, it could repel downwards. Above price, it could repel upwards. So there's some gamma we're looking at. The next largest level will be 415 down here, which is pretty interesting as we're a far cry from there. Going into its Gex and Vex profile, price isn't super supported around where it is right now, which doesn't mean much, but every time we've dipped, we dipped about to this 417 the other day. Price was supported there, and it did ramp up from there. So that's an interesting look for SPY. Now let's take a look at the levels. Obviously, we are just about at the top of our gamma. There is some more obviously up here, but there's smaller bars. Our largest bars are in this range. Interesting look, and the Qs have the same thing once we get into it. A lot of Gex going down that could be considered some support. An awful lot of Gex going down that could be considered some support. So these levels could be some support going down, and it's kind of crazy to see how muddy it is through this area. This whole ghost zone had cleared up earlier, right around here. It cleared up earlier, and all this gamma appeared at the end of the day again. All right, and then going down, still more large dark pools sitting around, still more, and then we don't really have any clear area that's a very small or a larger ghost zone till we get 405 to 400 if price decides to really go down hard. So these levels are interesting to see. We do have some more room up, but I'd not be shocked early week to see a little bit of a pullback to 425, 423. Obviously, a volatility event can change things to send us up or down drastically, but that is the data for SPY going into next week. Let's go ahead and pull up QQQ and see what it looks like, and it's got a little bit less OI going on. Tech has been running very hard lately. and I'd not be shocked to see some money leave tech and go into some other sectors, which I will cover on our Sunday video. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and take a look at what we see here. Q is building up, and it is also back tested to be we short above, but as you can see, our bigger days come on our bigger bars, so we'll just kind of have to go there and see what happens. All right, so once again, I really like them to be built up. I don't use this as often, the dealer Greeks, as I do on Qs, because I don't trade them as often, so I don't really know them quite as well, but I am paying attention to them. Going into today was actually somewhat of a bearish position. That did not happen. And then we have kind of bull bear going into 6-9 in very small increments. Once again, these change. We pay attention to them as they go. Price distro for Monday looks somewhat bullish for us. Let's go ahead and just roll through them all. Same with Tuesday. It does look still somewhat bullish. Wednesday as well. Thursday, even more bullish. And Friday, even more bullish. So interesting to see. That's a non-confluence point for me. No confluence here, as we see the potential for some downside through dealer Greeks, and the price distribution says there's some potential up. When I see these things pan out like this, I sometimes decide to not play something if I don't see clear-cut signals, which not every signal can always be 100%, even if they all line up, but it is important for me to see the data line up a little bit closer as we go along and kind of match each other as it goes, and that gives me more confidence in the play. So just checking its gamma, let's go ahead and grab its expiry filter for 6-9, see what it has to say. A lot of bars down here. Kind of crazy to see that our biggest exposure currently is 343. We are far from that at price. There's some repels in the positive levels here at 350 and 347. 347 is our largest positive bar. I think maybe almost eclipsed by this one right here at 355. But interesting to see the gamma does go all the way up to 361, with the largest bar still being down here at 343. So a massive range if there is a news event or a volatility event that can change the direction of tech and QQQ. Once again, though, if we can see, we look at the GEX and VEX profile, we see that price is supported well around 342, and guess what? We have a massive bar around 343. So kind of interesting to see that right around this area is where price is supported, and we are far from that price currently. So I would not be shocked to see some downtrend, even though we do have some price distros that are pointing upwards. All right, let's take a look at the Q's levels. Once again, we are looking at a little bit of craziness on the way down. A lot of levels of support sitting here in GEX, just a lot of levels, and then until we get to 346, the 346 GEX, 342 would be a pretty sizable ghost zone, and then once again, its ghost zones get larger as it goes down, but it's going to take an event to do that. Or maybe we've just all been exit liquidity while we've been buying calls all this time on these run-ups, and we're all about to lose all of that call money. We will see how it goes. Once again, it's so interesting to see. You draw out these gamma levels. Mine are a few cents off. They're supposed to be even numbers. I do know that, but I like to drag mine around a little bit where price acts, and you can see just how interesting over the past few days where these levels bounce, where they run, and why I love gamma so much. In fact, I'd like to drag that one up to be a little bit closer to those, and I know that's an uneven number, but whatever, it's going to be okay. It's now just a level that is near a gamma level. So that is what I'm watching this week. Just kind of keeping an eye on if there's any clearing of these, and MNF and ODTE GEX on both of these. If some of these levels start to disappear as we go and we start to get a bearish MNF and a pull downwards, obviously easy short at that point. Remember, the way I play everything is I short at resistances and I long at supports. So I do not long when we break above a level over here. Even if I could, I would long maybe around here or around here if I am doing so. That is the way I like to play my things. I like playing breakout or breakdown. I find them more dangerous. All right, I will see everybody Sunday night for our random ticker, the week ahead video. Everybody have a good night and have a great weekend.